All right, here we go. Welcome to the Department of Adult Education and Literacy at Joliet Junior College. We create Facebook Lives with the intention of providing information to our HSC and ESL students, as well as the community about our program and the resources within and outside of our college. My name is Kathy Kramer, and my job is to support students, teachers, and our program. As we start a new year, I'm happy to host this interview with Pam Rodriguez, my tongue is tied, Rodriguez, a career planner with Workforce Services, the division of Will County. I think there are always new opportunities for us, but sometimes we don't know how to make those opportunities happen. So today, Pam is going to share some tips on resume writing. If you have questions while we're live today, please put them in the chat so Pam can answer them while she's with us. Otherwise, her email is below. So welcome, Pam.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. I think all of us here in the Department of Adult Education and Literacy have been looking forward to this. It's a great way to start off the new year. So my first question to you is, as we start off the new year, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, because of COVID, as everyone knows, unemployment is pretty high right now. So I'm really looking forward to helping everyone get back to work, basically, help them improve those job skills. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people are looking at remote positions, and I'm happy to see that employers are offering those types of positions, and they're labeled as such. So I'm just excited to, continue the work that we have been doing and just waiting for that big surge of people, because there's lots of companies in Will County that are hiring right now.
That's exciting. It's exciting to know that you're helping so many people too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So for someone that's new to resume writing, can you explain why a resume is so important?
Yeah, so a resume is there for you to highlight your skills, accomplishments, experience to the potential employer to get an interview for the job. So without a resume, it becomes difficult to actually gauge not only, your work experience and your skills, but they're also looking at your writing style, spelling. Are you a detailed person? So a lot of people forget about that when they're writing their resume, that you want to make sure that you're taking a step back and looking at all those things as well.
Yeah, that's really, my students always know I'm a terrible speller, so I always make sure somebody reads mine before I send it.
Same.
So what are the key elements that go into a resume?
So the key elements for a resume would be, number one is the contact information. I know that sounds silly, but people forget to put their correct phone number, their email. So contact information is number one. Then for my writing style, I like to see a short summary. Definitely want to add in keywords or key skills. People use those words universal. Your work experience and your education. Those are like the general categories, and then you want to expand on all of those categories for sure.
So if somebody's new to resume writing, where would they find keywords to include in their resume?
So my advice for keywords are looking at the job description. Look at the job description and see what are they talking about. Is it required to have 5 years of experience, or is it required to have Microsoft Office? A lot of times we overlook our Microsoft Office skills because we want to assume everybody has those. But if the job requirement says Microsoft Office, we need to make sure that we're telling the employer that we have that skill, because they only know what we write on the paper. They're not going to call you up and say, hey, by the way, do you know this? So that's one thing that I always tell everyone, once you finish your resume, is take the job description, take your resume and make sure they match. So all the way down to the same language. So if somebody says they're looking for someone with MS Office experience, that's how you're going to list it on your resume, MS Office. So if they're using any sort of applicant tracking software, that is going to get picked up with the words that they're using, meaning the employer. And so that's why you want to kind of mock and copy the words that they're using.
Okay. So really look at that job description. Don't just read it once and let it go, but read it again and again.
Yes, there's tons of databases too that can help out, but I feel like the job description is the best indicator of what keywords you should have in your resume.
Okay, great. So on the resume, make sure you have your contact, which would be your phone number, your email. Make sure you have a summary using keywords, your work experience, and I think there was one more that you had.
Your education.
Education. All right, perfect. And I will include those in the comments if somebody wants to look at that later on today.
Okay, perfect.
So how can a good or bad resume help or hurt you? And what is the most common mistake made on resumes?
So a bad resume obviously is not going to get you the job interview. So a good resume is going to get you the job interview. And so I tell everyone when they're in their job seeking mode and they're looking for work and they put in lots of resumes, that's the first question I ask them. Are you getting interviews? If the answer is no, then that's the first place we need to review is let's take a look at the resume. There might be something on there that they don't even realize that is blocking them from, getting that interview. If they are getting the interviews, then we go to the next step and work on those interviewing skills. So I kind of try to take a look at it as a step approach. Probably the most common mistake with resumes are people aren't customizing it to the position that they're applying for. And just like I said earlier about the employer doesn't know if you're qualified for the position unless if you're telling them, that's where that comes in. So every job you apply for, you just want to double check your resume and say, is my resume saying that I have all the requirements that they're looking for? And then if not, obviously you're going to make those adjustments and then save those resumes. You can save it with the employer name. So I would save mine like Pamela Rodriguez, Career Advisor, Workforce resume. So then that way I know if I get called for an interview, I can go visit the resume that I sent them. I can pull that up.
Oh, that's smart. I never thought about that. I'm going to use that one too. Well, not that I'm looking for a new job, JJC. Okay, perfect. So one thing I was thinking when you were talking, though, is in our language arts classes, lots of times the teachers are telling the students, be more detailed. You need to write what's based on the information that's in this reading. And I think that's a great way of showing how this is a skill that transfers to resume writing also. You have to look at the job description and write your resume to fit that.
Yes, and it does take time.
Are being used everywhere.
Right, exactly, yeah. So do you want me to answer the questions? Somebody has a question about how do they contact a certified resume writer?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so to contact a certified resume writer at the Workforce Center, you can email careerservices@jobsforpeople.org. Since my email's on the screen, I'm more than happy to, if you send those over to me, that's fine. If I get overwhelmed, I have my coworkers, I can have them help me out. Or they can call our phone number, 815-727-4444, press 0, and they can set up an appointment. We're trying to do lots of different things like virtually, so Zoom. I've helped people over the phone, FaceTime. So it's whatever kind of comfort the customer is needing, we can help with that.
Okay, great. So all of that is virtual right now, is that right?
Yes, we're still virtual for now. We haven't gotten an open date yet, but even when we opened a couple of months back, we weren't seeing people one-on-one, so we were still holding these appointments virtually.
And is that through Zoom or?
Through Zoom, through email, through FaceTime. Probably the most popular is just people emailing us and
Okay.
asking us to take a look at their resume and providing the feedback.
So that kind of goes into the next question of how can Will County Workforce help a person with resume writing? Is anyone within Will County available to send in their resume for someone to look at?
Yes. We're open to the public. So I do have some people that don't live in Will County that email us. That's fine. Obviously, we prefer Will County residents. So they can, like I said earlier, email us, email me. My email is on the screen. Or
it's like it's a love song or something.
Well, that's nice because we don't have that. We also have a Facebook page, the Workforce Center of Will County. On our Facebook page, we hold 3 Facebook Live events a week, and one of those in a month is the resume writing. But you can always go back and review those, and that's always nice with the Facebook Live is that those are reviewable later on. So that's another way that you can get assistance with the resume writing.
So it doesn't matter what your job is. It could be you're applying for something at a factory, maybe a grocery store, maybe a department store, an office, anything, right?
Yep. I've helped everyone from a fast food worker all the way up to directors and presidents of companies. So we have 10 certified professional resume writers here. And so we've had lots of experience. I myself have about 15 years of experience with resume writing and reviewing, of course.
Wow, that's great. And so I'm sure as a teacher, a lot of times students will say, I'm kind of embarrassed because my writing's bad, my spelling's bad. That you're probably the same. You've seen it all, right? You've seen the worst of the worst and the best of the best. There's no surprises at this point.
Yes, we've seen it all, and we're here to help everyone to find employment. So whatever we have to do, and like I said, the resume, that's a huge part because the pandemic's really put a hold on some people. Some people don't have computers. I've had somebody, walk me through their resume and I type it for them. It's not an ideal situation because there's libraries open now, but at the time the libraries weren't open. But like I said, we're trying to do everything that we can so people have the tools to apply for those positions.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think it's like you might feel embarrassed in front of the people, like maybe with Pam, but it's better to be embarrassed with her than with an employer that could help you to get the job.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
and we've all started somewhere, so.
We have. And I was just telling a student yesterday, this is a great time to try new skills because everyone is trying new skills and we're all a little bit more patient with each other because we know we're all trying something new. So
exactly.
Go for it.
Exactly.
Well, we do have a question from Libby. She wanted to know, what if I am not sure of the job I need? Is there a general resume I could make? And do I have to have a specific job I am trying to get?
Well, it's best if you have an ideal job title that you're looking for, so that way you can grab those key skills and keywords. And you can kind of like develop a general resume. Most people, that's how you start off, is you develop a general resume. Then when you find the position that you'd like to apply for, then you just go in and you edit that. You adjust that resume to match that position. So you don't necessarily have to have a position in mind at the time, but it definitely helps.
And where would you suggest people look online for jobs? Like, what sites do you usually recommend?
So I have 2 sites, of course, our own, the jobsforpeople.org. We have a job board where local companies post their openings, and they're all current openings. So that's one nice thing to know. If you're going to like a national board or something like that, sometimes they're not always current. And then Indeed just seems to be the easiest. You could type in any career in any city and probably find at least 5 openings. And then the third one would definitely be LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a very nice job section. LinkedIn is a huge website with lots and lots of information, but definitely use LinkedIn for your job search. That's another question that I ask if somebody says that they're job searching. One of the first questions I say, "Oh, are you on LinkedIn?" Mm. And if they say no, I'm like, "Why?" Because there's so many. There's millions of jobs that are open and millions of companies that are hiring. So you got to put yourself on LinkedIn. And it also becomes a passive job search because your LinkedIn profile basically has all of your resume information on it. You could potentially have companies take a look at your profile, or meaning a recruiter or anything like that, and message you and ask you if you'd be interested in applying for, XYZ job. And so it becomes really nice.
Okay, perfect. Well, great. I think there's a lot of good information here. Do you have anything else you want to share with us today, Pam?
No, I don't think so. I mean, just the most important thing, like I said, is customize your resume, and please reach out to the center if you need help with your resume. Don't be embarrassed at all, whatever level you're at. We're fine with that. Like I said, we've all started somewhere, and our job is to help people find employment.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And for people that are watching this, I'm going to put some of the notes from today in the comments after we finish here today. So please reach out, get help. We want to be able to help you also. So thank you so much, Pam.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.